Okay, a mold making update. A Michaels 9x12 plaque mold that I'm making so that I can do signs or reliefs or whatever. You know, you can picture writing or you can picture faces or whatever kind of relief you want to put in there. It's a pretty basic, but basic's okay. And this is flashing, which is this stuff here. Tin snips. Cut that up. And Christmas decorations going on. And let's see, here's what I will mix the rubber in. Here's the rubber. It's a two-part. Mix it together. Spray the mold release on everything so that it all doesn't, the rubber don't stick to it all. And I'll be back with you know, it's very, you know, very strenuous. You mix for a long time, you know, minutes actually. You just keep stirring and stirring and stirring the two parts as you get them in. You got to weigh them with a scale. Where's the scale? This is Marielle's workspace. Oh, look at this creature. Ooh, not my creature. Okay, let's see. She's cool, right? Oh, I love the babushka lady hats. Okay, and the clumps of hair. Let's see. Where's the scale, Marielle? Oh, there it is. This was mine, wasn't it? It's my old trusty scale. So I will use that to measure the weight of the rubber. And yes, I will continue with a pour video, I suppose. I'm only going to pour up to about here. Okay. Yes, so I'm back. Marielle pointed out that it was not level, which it'll help if it's level when I'm pouring the waxes to make sure that, you know, each mold will be more level as everything settles. So the rubber will settle level. And let's see, so it's pretty good. And it's pretty good. And I was using these as shims. My cards. Finally getting some use out of those. Okay, so time to mix the rubber. And yes, the duct tape. I like to, so the mold rubber wants to leak. And how I prevent it, I just duct tape this whole thing together. And I use duct tape on both sides so that the rubber, you know, doesn't have anywhere to spill. And so I'll end up with the duct tape texture. That's my trade marker. I'm sure it's not mine alone. Plenty of people probably do it, but all my molds have it. All right, because I'm a pour mold guy. I'm not like a brush on molds and mother molds and all that. I'm just gonna do a straight pour. And it's gonna go around there. And yeah, okay. I'm gonna be working on the floor. This is the scale. You set it on to 0, right? So it does not weigh the bucket. You know, just weigh the metal. I mean the rubber mold stuff that you put in. And you want it to be equal ratio. So say if it's like a pound, you want 2 pounds once you put the other one in, you know. So luckily I can do addition and subtraction. It's just multiplication. I can even do some of that, but division, forget about it. Okay, and any other kind of math. All right, so here we go. Gonna start mixing. Okay, on to mixing. So, part A, I put 3.5 pounds. And it looks like that. It's clear. And then there's this amber looking color. Dark amber looking color. That's part B. So I had to do 3.5. So I want 7 pounds total when I pour this in. So let's see if I can do this. Can I do it while I'm holding the phone? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Precarious. Okay, we're going for 7 pounds, so slow and steady. Ooh. Maybe a little faster. got this on my knee, and I don't want to be wasting or spilling. Yeah, I can put a finger on there. I can. Oh, there we go. Getting a 7. Oh, so close. Come on. Just drops. Oh yeah, 16. Sorry. There, 16 ounces. All right. 14. Oh. Okay, that's good. I was leaning on it. That's good. So I didn't go over. But see, I'm gonna go over now. See how pain in the butt? Whoa, there we go. Perfecto. Okay, so let's get this in here so it don't drip all over. Actually, you know, it's the best thing to do is probably wipe it. But look at that, Billy even made a mess on there. Huh? Some Thai food. Okay, I'm supposed to be eating. All right. Clean our surfaces. Nothing on the floor. Good, okay. And then the mixing. My stirrer. And I will take it off the mold. Off. Don't waste the battery on that. Put us in there. And there's just a lot of this going on. Yeah, so it's a flimsy stir, but whatever. It works. Now the longer you stir, ideally you want 60 degrees is the temperature that this sets best at. And the longer you stir it, the quicker it sets. And the warmer, the quicker it sets too. Anyway, you go for minutes though. I mean, you go till your arm is well tired. And since I've been at the gym a little bit this week, I should be well tired. I'm already well tired, but I gotta keep going. And they say that, you know, you can use a power mixer, but the bubbles come out better when you hand stir this stuff. So anyway, and this isn't that much. I'd be surprised if I don't have to make more. This might come right up to the almost to the top of the wood, but it probably won't cover it completely. And but we'll see. I'll get to that later, but right now I'm not gonna give myself a rest, but I'm gonna give you a rest. Okay, mold release time. So spray it down a little bit. Okay. Put your form in there. It doesn't have to be 100% even, but you know, I'll try to get it as best I can. It's looking pretty good. It's gonna be a lot of rubber. Okay. So, you know, it's pretty close. This is as close as I'm gonna get it. Okay. So then, as a stir, I was trying to drip as much of this into there as I could, but you know, this is setting up pretty good because I spent so much time stirring it. So let me take the rubber, get a good grip there. Oh, do a little mold release on the wood itself. And pour. And try not to move it. Try not to move the, let's see, how's this gonna go? I pray that this is enough, but I don't think it is, but so far, so good. This might just be, I think I need a little more. I covered it though. But it doesn't look too deep. Well, it looks like it's a ½ an inch deep. I want to get it a little deeper, so I think I will pour more on top. But I'll just sit here for a while and let that, look at the bubbles. Look at the bubbles. Okay, I'd like to be able to get all this out, so I'm gonna turn this off so that I can use that stir to clean out of the bucket into here. Alright, so there it is. I didn't end up pouring in any more, but I used the duct tape to cinch it in a little bit. Hoping that to raise the level a little bit. Let my little tool drip into there. But yeah, so 16 hours should be good.
Wow.
And
very cool.
Oh, Marielle approves. So if she approves, then I think I'm good to go. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I'll make another little one of these. You know, when I pull this thing apart and pour a mold. All right. Or we'll pour wax into the mold when it sets in 16 hours. All right. Thanks again for tuning in, and hope this has been a little educational. Okay, there it is. It's not quite 16 hours at all. When did we do this? It's maybe like 6 hours, but pretty damn set. So I'm at least gonna take this stuff off. So I already took off a lot of other stuff around the edges. Oh yeah, here's a good way. Start by unraveling the corners. The rest will follow pretty well. Yeah, this is good stuff. Ta-da! Voila. I think it was a little warmer than 60 degrees in here, and I stirred it up for so long it was quick to set, but it's still probably curing. It will be for a while. Enough. I can pop all this off. Try not to pop myself. There we go. A little bit of duct tape underneath it. That's because, and I can feel that mold release. Look at that. Okay. Got an interesting shape from the duct tape. There we go. So then, this is on some kind of cooking sheet. I was another suggestion. She was the mold maker when we worked at the foundry. Boom. Okay, now this little bit of spillage underneath, but that I can fix with an X-Acto blade. I'll probably wait for it to cure before I start doing that, because that's where you might run into problems. It might be extra shreddy because it's not finished curing. So, but anyway, I won't do anything more tonight. But yeah, in the morning I'll cut that, and we'll be ready to go. Pretty cool. Uh-oh. All right, so here it is. The mold came out pretty good, and I'm going to, the mold release for the most part worked. It did, some splinters did kind of stick, and so they were gouged out of the original plaque as I released this mold. It's a very thick mold, definitely thicker than I need it to be, but it's okay. It'll help it probably increase its lifespan, you know, and prevent it from curling. It's because it's too much material for it to kind of curl in on itself, because this stuff does sometimes warp over time. But anyway, hopefully I'll be making a lot of molds out of this, you know, and doing, you know, engraving plaques and wax and stuff like that. So the wax should come out way easier. You don't need mold release or anything for the wax, or plaster even. They tend to shrink and pop out even easier. So I'm gonna get warming up the wax now. Got it 300 degrees to basically, this thing. Anyway, it's doesn't have to be quite at 300 anymore because it's fully melted. I try to get all the solids out of there, and then I gotta clean the wax, which I'm going to show you how I do that right now. Although I have to rig my camera somehow so that I can show you that. So let's see. Can I do that? Is it possible? Yeah, I think I can do it from the side. So here's my colander, right? So what I do is I hold the colander and I go like that. And all the gross impurities in the wax, they go, yeah. Anyway, I should be a film director, huh? Look at this. I'm working, and it's like I have 4 arms, but I only have 2 arms. Look at all that, grossness. It's like from a horror movie. And that's nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm hoping to get a nice good one. A nice clump of gross hair or something like that. But I'm trying to scrape the bottom where all the sediment and stuff lands. I'm going to be pouring this wax directly out of the pot into the mold. And I don't want all this stuff being in the wax, and it's just gross. I think this is, what is it, colander? What is this thing called that I'm using here? Anyway, it's, the netting was coming out, but I put some wax around the edges, and as long as I don't melt the wax around the edges, it holds perfectly. Boring. Boring. Okay, here we go. Let's get to some interesting stuff. I think you get the point for the cleaning of the wax. It's not perfectly clean, but it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. Okay, so what I do is I take this over to the barrel. It's still a little bit wet. And bada bing. There you go. Oh, that's completely fine. My nasty shot barrel. Okay, I'll put a little colander over there. And we'll unplug the wax. I think I can one-hand it. Make sure I unplug this too. There we go. I think I can one-handed pour this. Let's see. Maybe if I was wearing a glove. I must have a glove in there. It's a garage, right? Well. Yeah, it's gonna be a little tough to pour that with one hand. I only need to do it real quick. If I had a glove, I could do it. It's just about the heat of the pot. It's not about the weight of it. If I had something to hold it with. There we go. Look at all these leather gloves here. One that doesn't have a mate. This one looks pretty good. Yeah, look at these. These are filthy. So many of them. Here we go. So I got a glove here. And I'll hold with my good hand, my left hand, so. Boom, ba, shalaka, ding, shabala, ding, dun, dun. I'll grab that. I just need to get my thumb in there, get a good grip. So I'm thinking. Oop. Try not to get it all over the hole. It's probably good because I'm just trying to get a coating in there and not necessarily get the whole damn thing. So we'll let it. I totally should have some cardboard down underneath here. It's not too late, but it's hard doing this while also filming, but let's see what's happening. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to change views. Oh. Alright, so now I'm doing a brush mold. Here's the one that I poured. Came out pretty good. Not even thickness because I wasn't leveling it as I was, taking the wax, pouring it in, pouring it back in the pot, letting each layer cool and pouring in more. So, one side's a little, can you tell? Not really, right? But this side's thicker than this side. But all that really matters is that the edge is thinner, because that's where I want to be grinding material off of if I have to level it. I don't want to be grinding the whole thing. So this doesn't matter if that's flat. That can just have the texture it has, the uneven texture it has. I can scrawl a message in there. I can put a plate in there so to turn it into, so you can use hardware on it, whatever. Already spilt a drop of wax on it, but I'm going to be experimenting with this. And trying to, get rid of the original wood texture, because we don't want the wood texture. It's going to be bronze, and I think that's tacky to have. It's an obvious wooden cast, unless you wanted to cast wood and have it look like that on purpose. But in this case, no. The Michaels plaque was just literally to get me this shape. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it might seem like an excessive amount of waste just to get that, but it is an excessive waste, but the mold is stronger for it. It's less likely to bend, tear, curl, warp, because it's pretty solid, It's like, look at that. But anyway, yeah, see, so I'm brushing this mold in, because I remembered after pouring that that's the way you want to do these plaques to get kind of an even thickness. And then I can heat gun it and sort of like level it out, let the wax kind of spill where it will, like level it and use the heat gun so that it's all level, etc. But for now, just using some hot wax and a little chip brush, and yeah, and brushing it in. Don't forget to do your edges, right? Because that's, I mean, you don't want them too thick, but you don't want them not there either. And I could probably get it really thin this way, but you don't want it too thin because then it's gonna warp while you're trying to sculpt it. You know, while I'm digging in it with tools, it's just, you know, it's gonna buckle and warp. So actually, this one is really the perfect thickness where I can kind of control the warping. You know, so I'm gonna actually paint this pretty thick. Might even end up a little thicker than this around the edges. But that's just so that if the edges, little thin edges collapse and wax, it's gonna be frustrating too, because then I'm gonna have to literally build them back by hand, right? Or make a new one. So forget about that. So that's it. That's that. I guess the pulling this out of the mold would be the last part, but you could picture how you do that. You just kind of pop it out. It's not that interesting, right? So, voila. Voila. That's some ways to pour wax in a mold. One of these days I'll have to show a pour from one of my other molds where you spin it around. You got to twirl it around. I'll show you. See, like this guy here, you know, you want to swish it. You want to swish it around, dump it out, because if the hot wax stays in it too long, it creates bald spots on the high points, and the wax thickens in the low points, and you end up with totally uneven thicknesses. So basically anywhere where there's like a detail, you know what I mean, ends up being like no wax, and then like someplace like a cheek or something like that would end up being like super thick, you know. So that's why, you know, there's a technique, and I used to be pretty good at this. You know, also to the way you pour it to not get bubbles. One thing I forgot to mention is when I poured this mold, I was supposed to pour the rubber in from very high, because the stream, the taller the stream, the less air bubbles are going to get down in there, right? You pour it low and it's going to like create lots of bubbles, and the bubbles won't pop as they're going down the stream in a sense. So, does that make any sense? I don't know. Like, I wish that I didn't talk like, you know, Bugs Bunny or something like that. Some Mel Blanc character. But that's, you know, it's what raised me. You know what I mean? Was cartoon characters in the Three Stooges. So, and then I grew up in Dorchester, where people, they purposefully screw with the language even more. So anyway, I sound like a freaking the Massachusetts equivalent of a Cockney, right? So anyway, I hate the sound of my voice too, by the way. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and yeah, thanks for your patronage, and couldn't do it without you. And have a happy holiday, and that's it. That's all, folks. No, wait, hold on. That's all, folks. Okay, bye.